Imagine a building so famous, so iconic, it basically is the image of a city, maybe even a whole continent. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the Sydney Opera House. We've got some great sources, like an engineering case study, some educational materials too. They give us a really interesting look at how it all came together. And you're going to find out it's way more than just a pretty building. It's a story of vision meeting some serious hurdles.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating, I think, is that this deep dive, it isn't just about looking at a beautiful structure. It's about understanding the sheer boldness of the vision and the incredible innovation needed to make those famous sails actually stand up.
Yeah.
Our mission really is to explore how building it pushed engineering to its limits and some of the, surprising challenges they hit along the way.
So it all kicks off with the architect, right? This visionary Danish guy, Jørgen Utzon. He came up with this design, those amazing arched white roofs. They look like sails, billowing sails on a boat, which apparently came from his love of sailing.
Yeah, and his design, it wasn't just different, it was revolutionary for its time. It really changed how people thought about architecture. It became this instant symbol for Australia.
Yeah.
The way it plays with light and shadow, those curves, it's stunning.
But here's the kicker, isn't it? When they picked Utzon's design, they didn't actually know how to build it. Is that right?
That's the incredible part. They chose this winning design, these impossible shapes, and the method for actually constructing them, pretty much unknown. They literally picked a building that technically couldn't be built right at that moment.
Wow. Okay. So that's where the engineers had to step up big time.
Precisely. They brought in the world-renowned structural engineer Ove Arup and his team. Their job wasn't just building, it was basically inventing the way to build it. They used some really groundbreaking methods. One key thing was using precast concrete shells.
Precast, so made somewhere else and brought in.
Exactly, fabricated off-site. This meant they could get really precise dimensions and finishes, which was crucial for those complex curves. Then these massive pieces were transported and carefully assembled on location. It relied heavily on advanced structural analysis, computer modeling stuff that was really cutting edge back then, all to balance that beautiful look with, making sure it wouldn't fall down.
So the engineering was one massive puzzle, but they were building it right there on Sydney Harbor. That must have added its own problems.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
The location itself, Bennelong Point, threw up huge environmental challenges. You've got corrosive saltwater constantly splashing around, plus strong winds. So to deal with that, they had to build these enormous concrete piers anchored way down deep into the bedrock, just to get a stable foundation.
Solid footing against the sea and the wind.
Right. And things like seismic design, wind resistance features, those weren't optional extras. They were absolutely essential for the building's safety and, just making sure it lasted.
And the site itself has a history too, doesn't it? Bennelong Point.
It does, yeah. It's named after Woolarwar Bennelong, an Aboriginal man born around 1764, who acted as an interpreter between his people and the early British colonists. So putting this huge modern structure there, it wasn't just about the view. It placed it right on land with, deep indigenous history. Adds another layer to its significance.
Okay, so complex design, tricky location. This sounds like it took a while and probably cost a bit.
A bit. Try a lot. This is maybe the most jaw-dropping part. Initially, the plan was about 4 years of construction, and the budget was around 7 million Australian dollars.
Sounds ambitious even then.
Well, it ended up taking 14 years. And the final cost wasn't $7 million. It was closer to $100 million.
Wow. From 7 to 100 million, what happened?
Just the sheer complexity of the engineering problems they had to solve, lots of design changes along the way. And there was also a pretty famous falling out between Utzon, the original architect, and the state government. He actually left the project.
So 14 years, $100 million. How on earth did they pay for that?
Get this, largely through a state lottery. People buying lottery tickets basically funded a huge chunk of the Opera House.
That's incredible. Imagine the buzz around that lottery.
Must have been something. And finally, after all that, it was officially opened in 1973 by Queen Elizabeth II. A real monument to sticking with it, I suppose.
Definitely. So we've seen this bold vision facing immense challenges, costs spiraling. That $7 million to $100 million jump over 14 years is just staggering, paid for by lottery tickets. But it resulted in this enduring symbol, a testament to human ingenuity, maybe perseverance too.
And if you sort of step back and look at the bigger picture here, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does this story, a project that was, let's be honest, plagued by problems and massive costs early on, but became this global icon, what does it teach us? It teaches us about maybe the long-term value of actually embracing those really ambitious, really complex projects. Even when the road ahead is bumpy and expensive, something to think about, when you look at the big structures or projects in your own world, the ones that maybe seemed impossible at first but ended up changing everything.